You know those days when you're just trying to mind your business, groove to some drums, walk majestically through a marketplace like the world is yours, and prepare to die with honor because, well, that's your job? No? Just me and the king's horseman then? Picture this. You're Elesin Oba. Life is grand. Your king has died, and according to ancient Yoruba tradition, that means it's your time to exit the stage, literally. Not because you're sick or old, but because, as the king's horseman, your whole vibe is escorting the king to the afterlife, like Uber but spiritual. And deadly.
Interesting.
But right as you're preparing for your grand departure with music, dancing, and silk clothes laid out for your royal stroll, what do you see? A beautiful young woman glowing like the morning dew. And your last wish before death? You want her, not just her number, no, the whole woman. To marry, tonight. Iyaloja, the market matriarch, should probably say no. After all, the girl is betrothed to her son. But you, Elesin, are on your final lap. Iyaloja gives in, warning you ominously.
The living must eat and drink. When the moment comes, don't turn the food to rodents' droppings in their mouth. Don't let them taste the ashes of the world when they step out at dawn to breathe the morning dew.
You respond like, whoa, mother of the market, you mistake my person, I'm gonna do the thing. Trust, spoiler alert, you don't do the thing. So here's the setup. In the ancient Yoruba city of Oyo, the death of a king sets in motion a sacred tradition. The king's horseman, Elesin Oba, must follow the king into the afterlife. This isn't just some creepy sacrifice for fun, it's about cosmic balance. If he fails, it's shame for his family and chaos for the community. The spirits won't rest, bad stuff will happen. The ancestors will be ticked off. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. The play begins with Elesin confidently strutting through the market. There's music, dancing, the people are celebrating his nobility and duty. His praise singer hypes him up with metaphors and fables, reminding him of the honor awaiting him. Everything's on track, until, like I said, the girl walks into the market stall and Elesin halts death itself to claim her. Iyaloja, even though she's deeply uneasy, lets it happen. She warns him again, saying,
You wish to travel light. Well, the earth is yours, but be sure the seed you leave in it attracts no curse.
Still, Elesin assures her he's not backing out. He even says the girl's fingers will, seal his eyelids with earth and wash his body. He's that committed. Or so we think.
That's a twist. That's very twisted.
Now things get messy. Word of this ritual suicide reaches the local British district officer, Simon Pilkings. This man doesn't understand Yoruba customs, but honestly, he's got a lot of opinions. To him, ritual suicide is backward, barbaric, and illegal. So what does he do? He arrests Elesin.
No! No, you can't do that to me.
Boom. Ritual ruined, honor destroyed, tradition interrupted, the ancestors probably foaming at the mouth. Back at the marketplace, people are just horrified. Iyaloja, who actually gave up her son's bride for this man's honor, well, she feels deeply betrayed. She tells him off, hard.
You have betrayed us. We fed your sweetmeats such as we hoped awaited you on the other side. But you said no. I must eat the world's leftovers. We said you were the hunter who brought the quarry down. To you belonged the vital portions of the game.
She adds,
We called you leader and oh, how you led us on. What we have no intention of eating should not be held to the nose.
To Simon Pilkings, she says with scorn,
Child, I have not come to help your understanding. Points to Elesin. This is the man whose weakened understanding holds us in bondage to you.
And then comes the twist. Elesin's son, Olunde, returns from England. He had gone abroad to study medicine, but when he heard of the king's death, he came back prepared to bury his father. But what does he find? His father, alive in colonial custody, and the ritual undone.
And it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
Now Olunde, raised partly in the West, shocks everyone, especially the Pilkingses, when he defends his culture and steps up where his father failed. He takes his father's place. Yes, Olunde commits ritual suicide.
You didn't see that coming.
Simon and his wife Jane are stunned. Through ritual suicide? Jane gasps, but Olunde claps back.
Is that worse than mass suicide, Mrs. Pilkings? What do you call what those young men sent to do by their generals in this war?
And then he drops the mic.
Of course, you have also mastered the art of calling things by names which don't remotely describe them. I know now how history is made.
Eventually, Elesin sees his son's corpse laid beside the king's body. Stricken by shame and guilt, he finally takes his own life. But it's too late. His death is no longer noble. His son will feast on the meat and throw him bones. He missed his moment. In this world and the next, he's fallen. The story I've just told you, with its spiritual stakes, cultural conflict, tragic failure, and heroic redemption, is Death and the King's Horseman by Wole Soyinka. This play is heavy, and yet it's also subtle. Soyinka himself warned us not to reduce it to a simple clash of cultures. That's too easy, and frankly wrong. Yes, the British interfere. But this isn't a morality play about good tradition versus evil colonialism. The deeper tragedy is Elesin's own failure, his hesitation, his earthly desire that outweighed his spiritual duty. The British just don't understand what's happening here. And honestly, they don't really make much of an effort to try. Pilkings looks at the ritual and sees nothing but a crime. But you know, Soyinka isn't just blaming the colonials. He holds Elesin accountable too. Iyaloja says it best.
This is the man whose weakened understanding holds us in bondage to you.
And then there's Olunde. He stands as a kind of cultural bridge, educated in the West, yet fiercely loyal to Yoruba values. His character really shows us that understanding and dignity can, well, rise above colonial indoctrination. Olunde knows the cost of tradition, and he pays it not as a victim but as a guardian of cultural continuity.
What a twist!
Soyinka also explores how people in both cultures justify death. The British send thousands to die in war and call it patriotic. The Yoruba send one man to die and call it sacred. Neither is inherently superior. They're both ways of understanding the world. As Olunde says,
Whatever we do never suggests that a thing is the opposite of what it really is.
at the end of the day, Death and the King's Horseman is about duty, legacy, honor, and the peril of losing touch with the sacred rhythms of your culture, whether through outside interference or personal weakness. Wole Soyinka is one of the most influential African writers of the 20th century and the first African to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986. He's a playwright, poet, essayist, and fierce political voice. Born in Nigeria in 1934, Soyinka has always been deeply engaged in the politics and cultural identity of his homeland. His works often wrestle with difficult questions: what it means to be free, to belong, to remember. Death and the King's Horseman might be one of his shortest plays, but it's packed with some of his deepest insights. If you haven't read this play yet, do. It's only 77 pages, but it will stay in your mind far longer. If you're Nigerian, it'll hit different. If you're not, it's a glimpse into a cultural logic that demands attention, not pity. And if you've ever had a moment where you knew what you had to do, but let something shiny distract you, well, Elesin's story might feel a little too familiar. This has been my review of Death and the King's Horseman by Wole Soyinka. If you liked this breakdown, give it a thumbs up. Till next time, don't miss your moment. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.